Hello everybody, my name is Gary J, and welcome to my speedrunning submission video for Pitfall: The Lost Expedition from the Nintendo GameCube. Pitfall: The Lost Expedition is kind of a hidden gem GameCube speedrun. There's a lot of wacky out of bounds throughout the entire run, and there's some really interesting and intense platforming that's going to be scattered throughout the run. But it's kind of gone under the radar until pretty recently, when it's been picking up steam. So hopefully throughout this run, I can just show you just how wacky this game can get. So I'm going to start time in 3, 2, 1, go! So we're going to load into a boss real quick. I'm going to try to 0 to death him. If I mess up an input, I can very easily mess this up, but it's not really high stakes. Can't really die. And if I mess it up, it's fine. I can very easily recover. It's just this is fast, and I like going fast. So I'm going to try to kind of pay attention here. It's not a lot to talk about right here. I'm going to do this. And there we go. Boss fight done. So we're going to skip a couple cutscenes. The lore, they're going to cover a bunch of the lore right here. I can mention it a little bit later in the run, but not right now, because we're going to load into the first bit of platforming right here. And you might notice the fact that, oh my god, Super Mario Odyssey stole this mechanic from Pitfall: The Lost Expedition. Can you heckin' believe that? Like, look at this, we're rolling around to go fast. Like, my gosh. And then I fell in the pit. So right here, such a bad meme. What we're doing right here is I'm gonna kind of go out of my way a bit in order to get 10 totems. I'm gonna get 9 right here and 1 in a later map. What I'm gonna use these for is I'm gonna be purchasing an ability, an extra ability called Slam Strike. It's not necessary by any means, but we're gonna use it to go out of bounds a bit. So I'm gonna get this, and we're gonna use that a bunch. So you might notice that I'm kind of doing 2 different things when I'm moving around. During that fight, I was kind of punching, and right now I'm kind of rolling, such as a la Super Mario Sunshine, or Super Mario Odyssey, I should say. The kind of general rule of thumb is if it's within 2 punches, if where you're going is 2 punches away, it's usually faster to punch. If not, then it's like it's more convenient to roll around. Like right up here, I'm gonna roll to the goal because it's slightly, or roll to the load zone, because it's slightly farther and it's slightly faster to do that. Later in the run, we're going to get running. We're going to be able to get the ability to run, but we don't have that yet, so. Also, neat little thing, a little optimization. So this is a, what's it called? An explorer? Or, yeah, explorer idol. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to free them, and then once they free them, they give us a totem that's worth 5 of regular totems. But what I did was I destroyed his cage and then immediately left. Hold on, I'll finish that statement in just a second. But we totally need Rising Strike in order to get through that. Like, there's no other way around it. So, I'll finish that statement in just a second, but, that's a little thing. I'm gonna be doing it here again. Right there, that's a 2-frame input. This game is 60 FPS, and I have to time a jump. If I time a jump right at a perfect time after I let go of roll, I can jump into midair, and then continue to do my double jump. That lets me skip some platforming sections, like right there. The first one I did skipped about 5 minutes of gameplay. Because we're supposed to go a long, winding path, and I really didn't want to do that, so I just skipped it. And we're gonna do one more up here. First, I'm gonna get rid of these monkeys. As you can assume by a 2-frame trick, it's kind of precise. And it's also not like, it doesn't really make sense. It's not like, oh, it's 2 frames after. It's like 11 frames after you let go of roll, you have to jump, so it's kind of hard to time. Also, this is kind of neat. They closed the gate here, and they're like, oh, fight this boss, but I really don't want to, so I'm just gonna go through the gate. Don't worry about it. It's fine. That's totally supposed to happen. So. Right here, I'm gonna get the last totem that I need. I have 9 currently, and I need 10 right, so I'm gonna get the 10th one right here. And I'm at the top of this tower, I'm gonna buy what I need. So. Also, before I forget, I wanted to mention this. I freed the guy, but when the guy is freed, he takes like a 3-second animation where he's like, what? Oh, I'm free! Hi! So what I did is I freed him, and then I left the map immediately, and what that did is it let me overlap the animation of me entering the map and that little cutscene, which lets me skip having to stand there for 3 seconds as he's like realizing he's free. So I'm gonna pay attention right here, because this is actually kind of annoying. Frame perfect. Let's heckin' go. Okay. So the menuing is kind of annoying. You have to use the D-pad in order to menu in this game. Like, even in the main menu, you can't use the joystick at all. And sometimes, the game likes to either eat your input on the D-pad or double your input on the D-pad, so it's kind of annoying sometimes. If you buy the wrong item, it's actually kind of bad, because we only have 10 totems at our disposal right here. So, even if we buy the item that's right above it, which only costs 1 totem, dang it. We are really out of luck. I think the closest totem, oh my gosh. I think the closest totem is like 2 minutes away, so. It's kind of important. Also, right here is, throughout the run, there's gonna be, I think there's like 4 different segments that are just solid platforming. Very intense, very super interesting platforming. There's not a lot to talk about during these, but it is certainly amazing to watch. Also, oops, we gotta slide down. One neat little thing right there is we're not supposed to be able to swing up and then grab the ledge the vine is on, but we're able to do that because, God, gamers. Also, you probably saw throughout that I kind of just did a swing kick in midair. That you can do a double jump by pressing 2 A's in a row, but the double jump actually doesn't give you any extra height. Or you can jump and then do a midair attack, which is this swing attack right there. It gives you slightly more distance. It's also slightly faster than double jumping, but the main kicker is it lets you skip some ledge grabs if you're very precise with it. So I'm gonna be doing that for some platforming sections, just to make it a little bit quicker. I'm gonna actually attempt it on top of this. Before I do that though, I don't like this wall, so I'm just gonna walk through it. And also, I'm gonna be doing some kind of weird platforming out of bounds. So I'm gonna, right there, I kind of skipped the ledge grab by doing the spin kick. So that's what I was referencing. And also, oh my god, that was extremely clean. So, we're not supposed to be up here. Don't worry about it. This is the first part of 2 parts for a skip called Mysterious Temple Early. The second part's right here. Also, if you're asking yourself, why is this so dark? Don't worry, I can see less. This game is just very dark for some reason. So I'm using the Slam Strike right there. I kind of delay it, and it kind of confuses the game for where my hitbox is, and then that lets me just kind of clip through that wall. This is actually extremely clean. Like, really, really good. So what that does is, where I'm going right now is actually the 3rd to last story trigger for the entire game. So the story is, we're supposed to go to 4 different, we don't know this yet, but we're supposed to go to 4 different temples in order to get 4 different medallions in order to, like, be super cool and save the world or something like that. But, when we get to the 4th, we actually only go to 2 temples, because we can skip a lot in this game. When we get to the 4th temple, we find that everyone's dead and, the medallion is stolen. And we go through, like, a bunch of different areas. We do, like, go backtracking, like, all around the map in order to end up here to learn that the main antagonist of the game stole it, and we have to go invade his camp. But, doing all that backtracking takes like 30 minutes. So what I'm doing is I use those really weird out of bounds in order to clip into here, so I can access this area way before I'm supposed to. And this lets us just skip having to do all of that backtracking. So yeah. That's not going to come into play for another like 20 minutes into the run or so, but I'll definitely make sure to mention it when it gets back into relevancy. Also, a nice little thing is, as soon as we leave that, we enter this tutorial, which gives us this thing called Rising Strike, and the Sling, which is the first item we're going to get in the run.
Good job.
So, also, that Rising Strike thing I did, that was the thing I was supposed to use in order to do those ledge grabs at the beginning of the run. But we didn't have it then, so I made do with what I had. So,
I certainly will.
So now we have to go back to one of the previous areas we were going to. This game has a lot of backtracking. Fortunately, we can skip a lot of it in this run because we have a lot of glitches at our disposal, but we still have to do a little bit of backtracking. So, a lot of the big stretches of platforming, you'll see me go all the way through it, and then I'll achieve one thing, and I'll have to go all the way back. And the approach for platforming is completely different going back, and it's actually kind of interesting. I'm a big platformer speedrunner. I just love doing platforming. So this game is just, I eat this up, because you can optimize all of the platforming as much as you want to. Specifically by doing the mid-air kick attack that I mentioned earlier, where you can skip some ledge grabs. So I'm going to use the sling right here. The main reason I mentioned that is because the sling is kind of weird sometimes. Like, I'm right on it, and it's not hitting the thing I needed to hit. There we go. Thank you. The sling can just not work sometimes. It's not... Like, you can be dead on a target, but it will just go all around it except the target. It's not common, but it's really annoying when it happens. So, thankfully, we don't use it much in the run. So, that's nice. I'm gonna kind of purposely go slow here. So, these guys are hitting this little engine. And, it's supposed to teach us that we can use the sling to hit it ourselves in order to move this. Dang it. Oh my god. That's really unfortunate. Jumping on that is really annoying. So, what I was trying to do is I was trying to have them move this over there. I was trying to have them to do this, so I didn't have to do this myself. But, I missed it. I fell off the platform. That platform is really annoying to land on, because it's swaying back and forth. And it's also kind of a weird hitbox, so that was unfortunate. What I was trying to do is I was trying to sneak up. I also had to go slow, because they would see me. They could see me if I was going fast. I had to go slow in order to wait for them to move it over there. But unfortunately, I messed it up. That's okay, though. And this is a boss fight. This is the first time we're going to fight St. Clair, which is the dude that flung TNT at us. It's also the last time, because we skipped both of the other fights we're supposed to do with him. So, say hi to St. Clair. And say bye to St. Clair. So right here, we're gonna free this person. This is one of our... We got here, so the beginning of the story, we get here on a plane because we're trying to, like, find something our father sent us or left us or something. Because we're Pitfall Harry and we like to explore stuff like that. Also, I kind of just went through that wall, don't worry about it. So we were on a plane that had only 4 people in the entire plane, and then it crashed. Probably because there was no pilot. That would probably make sense. This is only 4 of us. So she was one of the people that that was in the plane, and she, we actually gave her the only parachute in the game, in the plane, because Pitfall Harry is such a chivalry guy, has a lot of chivalry, so he decided to do that, and then fall and nearly die. So we were trying to find all these people. We found the other 3, and that was the 4th person we needed to find. And now we're trying to find the medallions, because, like, we are at Pitfall Harry. We like doing that kind of stuff. So. This is another platforming area. Also, I kind of wanted to mention, according to all of the lore between every single Pitfall game, which is not a lot, but, this Pitfall Harry is the same Pitfall Harry that was in the Atari version, in the Super Pitfall, and basically every other version. They're all canon, the same character. So, just in case you're at all curious, it's kind of a little bit of a fun fact. It's not really important, but it's kind of neat. Right here, I'm gonna, at the end of this level, I'm gonna do a really kind of weird jump. Also, I really hope this gator doesn't eat me. Okay. A weird thing can happen there where the gator just kind of... So when you swim by a gator, he can see you and he'll try to eat you like that. And the one at the very beginning can just... You might not notice it, but he'll notice you. And you can get to the very end right there. And then he'll just eat you. And it's like, without warning. Normally if you continue to swim, you can very easily outrun him. But it's just sometimes he just does it for some reason. It's kind of annoying. He can just eat you for no reason. So, I'm gonna pay attention here. That wasn't close. Okay. Okay, this is a really tight jump. This is extremely tight. That should do it. There we go. Nice. Okay. Second try is decent. It's not extremely hard, but it is very tight. This is a very tight timing, so. If I fail it once or twice, it's fine, because it's just really wonky. There's a lot of very tight platforming in this run, so. That's to note. Nice. If I make that cycle, I can do this. Very, very rarely make that. Also, I'm gonna go through a mango pit, or I call it the mango pit. So a bunch of monkeys here. I'm supposed to kill them, but I really don't want to. I can very easily, if I get really bad luck, I can get hit by mango after mango, and then just die. It's kind of annoying, but thankfully I didn't. So yeah, I only got hit twice. You can, if I'm very lucky, I can get all the way through without getting hit once, but it's very annoying. Speaking of annoying, this place is kind of annoying, because you want a wool, because it's slightly faster, but like, these are all in the way, so you really can't. So right up here is the flooded courtyard. We're going to come through this place a few times, but the main thing I want to mention, well, first off, I'm doing a little bit of a thing where if I time a jump at the very end, I can hit this this checkpoint. You're supposed to jump to it, but I roll and then store my momentum in order to hit it. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have... Okay. Whatever. I was supposed to heal. So I'm going to do a thing right up here called Monkey Temple Early. So we're supposed to light a bunch of torches, and it removes the door that's right over there to my left. And that lets us go into the first temple of the game, which is Monkey Temple. But that's slow. And there's a nice little piece of collision right here. So I'm going to kind of do stuff and click through the wall. And hit the load zone from... Like, yeah, like that. I'm just going to just do that. It's super easy. Super free. Here you go. That's one of the first big... One of the first biggest skips. Actually, no, that's not true. We did Mysterious Temple, but that's a really interesting, like, that's a very interesting, like, that's not supposed to be the case. That's not supposed to happen. It's like, also. So the temples consist of being transformed into an animal and then having to actually kill yourself. That's actually the mind of the animal that you were transformed into. You kind of do a Freaky Friday, like, mind switch kind of thing. And now we have to beat ourselves up. Oh, heck. Okay. I'm kind of just notorious for being really bad at this. Like, every other runner of this game really doesn't have much problem with it, but I'm just really bad at it. No! Oh my god. Am I gonna lose this? Okay. Even though I'm really bad at this, I actually have the best segment of this fight. Just a little fun thing. Also, I got a best segment last split. I just noticed that. It's kind of nice. No! Okay. I have 13 seconds to do this. This is kind of unfortunate. Got him. Okay, that's fine. At least I did it. My best segment for that split is I got the first two hits immediately. The third hit took a little bit of time, but on the fourth hit where he's supposed to run around like everywhere, and it's really annoying. But he actually got stuck in a corner between me and the mommy monkey. So, and I instantly caught him and ended. It was like, there was like 39 seconds on the clock. It was actually really insane. Oh god. So we just got the first medallion, and we're gonna continue on our journey. So there's gonna be a little bit more platforming right here. There isn't a lot, but to mention immediately. Or actually, there's a couple that I want to mention immediately in the next map. But the next, there's gonna be a really interesting out of bounds in the next couple minutes. So within the next like 2 minutes or so. But before that, got some interesting platforming. I'm gonna try to do a neat little thing. Oh, yeah, so I'll explain this. What I'm doing when I'm doing the slam strike, when the 2 times I used it to go out of bounds, I kind of delayed it, so like here. So right there, I did a double jump. You can only do a slam strike after doing a double jump. I did a double jump and then kind of waited a bit and then did the slam strike immediately. And for some reason, it kind of gets confused. Your hitbox gets a little skewed, and you can clip through. You can clip into walls. You can clip through the surface of the water and hit that load zone immediately, which is kind of nice. And weird things like that can happen. I'm gonna go over here and heal. I can. It's not likely, but I can die. I can take a little bit of damage in the next map. Nice. That really doesn't save much time. You're supposed to grab a ladder and climb it, but climbing ladder is actually really slow in this game. So, we do that. We're going to go in here and get another ability. It's called the Heroic Dive. Heroic Dive. And you actually don't need to get this. You can skip this. But we're going to use it for an out of bounds immediately, so. It's also pretty useful for one other spot in the one. But it also makes platforming slightly faster, so it's overall really nice. And it only takes like 30 seconds or so to get. So go this way. This eye can sometimes just zone me. There you go. It's kind of weird. I don't get it exactly. No, the monkey, I don't want to hug. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to dive up this wall. Jump up here, and that's actually really, really great. And I'm out of bounds. Oh, ah. Where am I? What? Excuse me? Okay, that was weird. Let's try that again. That actually would have been a best segment if I got that first try, which I'm kind of sad about. Do this one more time. Again, another really clean platforming. I have to delay that dive right there in order to actually make that jump. And I'm going to fall into here. There you go. So, what we're supposed to do in the story is, after you do that, we go to a village. And like they tell us like, oh, we need to find the chief's daughter, and we go find her. And then after we do that, we get a shield, and then a bunch of areas open up after that. And we go to a cave area, a super dark cave area, where we get the a gas mask. And then after that, we go to another area where we get the tube, and then we can eventually get here. But I just went out of bounds and accessed that teleporter, which you're really not supposed to get to until like 50% of the game. And now I can go here, and I skipped all of that. It's extremely nice. And it's actually one of the easiest out of bounds, which is kind of nuts because it saves the most time out of all of them. Oh, nice! I actually got that ledge grab. That's a really tight ledge grab. So this is a very long segment of really interesting platforming. Also, I forgot to split. That's fine. Oh, doesn't really matter. Some really super interesting platforming, and then I just set up. I'm gonna kind of pay attention a bit. This would probably be a decent time for donation reading. Because there's just not a lot to talk about, except it's just really interesting to watch. If I really was ballsy, I don't think I was on the right cycle, but if I was really ballsy, I could have dived from that platform with the porcupine onto this area over here, and I would skip having to wait there. But it's extremely tight, and it requires a very specific cycle. I do not think I was on the cycle, though, so it's extremely clutch, if you get it. There's this map, and we're gonna actually, at the end of this map, we're gonna do a super neat skip. First, I have to do a very tight jump. We're not supposed, very conveniently, there's a platform right here, or an area right here we can stand on, and we're not really supposed to make that jump, but I thankfully was able to do it. And I'm gonna do this. No! Okay, dang it, okay. So we're not supposed to be on that rock, as you can probably tell. And we just slid off because it's not really solid ground. It's not really consistent ground. Also, nice, I got that second try. That's a really hard timing to get. And I got it to it both times, first try. Come on. There we go, okay. So I had to do a rising strike there. Also, I just skipped like a 2-minute boss fight. That's besides the point. You can jump, if the ground is not completely, like, solid. Not solid as in, like, you can stand on it. Solid as in, like, solidly programmed. It's weird. If it's not completely solidly programmed, also, I'm doing these really tight jumps. I'm the only one that does this because it's a really hard strat. I don't know why I do it, but that's beside, just letting you know that these are very tight. Also, hey, yo, Jay. How you doing, dude? Just chatting with someone in my chat, sorry. So if a platform is not completely solid, quote unquote, you can't do a rising strike on it. And that, you have to be in a kind of a precise place in order to do a rising strike there, and we need the rising strike in order to get high enough in order to make the, platform. Or not, get on top of that little rock that I stood on, and then we can very barely skip that fight there. So yeah. That skips about 2 minutes of, it skips about a 2-minute fight. which is really, really nice. And we're on to the second temple of the game. And this is actually this is the last temple we're actually going to do, because we skipped the last one. But this is the last two. So now we're Scorpion.
So now I'm a scorpion?
Like Pitfall Harry just said. Now I'm a Scorpion? So, this fight is actually really, really annoying. So I'm a Scorpion, and Pitfall, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to drop rocks on ourself, our human self. And then we sneak up and then hit him. And then we have to retreat and then do it all over again. What's really neat is, he'll go to random torches. So what he's trying to do is he's supposed to try to light every single torch. Dang it. I messed it up. Messed the timing up. Why are you going all the way over here? There's like 8 other torches you could have gone to. Why? So, I'm trying to drop blocks on his head. And then as soon as I do that, he gets dizzy. And then, I do it over again. What I was trying to do there is I was trying to hit him as he was on his way to the other torches. It requires specific timing, though. And he wasn't even... Sometimes he can just not go the path I was preparing him to. There you go. And one more. This is also somewhat of a decent time to beat donations. Also, fun fact, that item he has, I don't actually have. That's a shield. You're supposed to get that, actually, that was supposed to be the next item I get, but I didn't want to get it, so I just skipped it. Okay. That's fine. This is kind of decent. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty decent. A neat thing that can happen there is, even if I'm point blank against Pitfall Harry, as the Scorpion, he swaggers back and forth because he's confused, he's dizzy. He can very barely swagger just out of my hitbox range. Or out of my hit. And if you miss it 3 times, he actually comes back to his senses and then beats you up. Which is really nice. So, which means you just have to hit him again, which is really annoying. Also, I kind of take that slow right there because the game is really dark and it's hard for me to see the doorway, so I take that a little carefully. I take it a little cautiously, so yeah. Now we're gonna be going. I mentioned before how some of the platforming areas we have to do it and then we're gonna go back. We're gonna do all of that platforming I did earlier. We have to go backwards through it. That leads to a lot of interesting platforming options I get to do. So, but first I have to come over here and get this item. This is the pickaxe. This is actually the second to last item we're supposed to get in the game. But it doesn't. I got it. I'm getting it now because it's very convenient. You can actually skip this. We don't need it at all in this current route. But we need it for one specific fight. And I'll mention it earlier. I'll mention it in a bit. Heck, come on. It also really doesn't work that well. It's not really that well programmed. So, we go out our way very slightly to get this, because we need it for a boss fight. Can I put the filter? No! There you go. So, while I'm on the way back, I can kind of explain the story a bit. The beginning story, at least, what I skipped. So, at the very beginning of the game, we start with a boss fight. That boss fight is actually supposed to be the second to last boss fight we fight in the entire game. But what happens is, we do the fight, and then after we do the fight, we just run off, which we don't know what he's running off to yet. Because it's the second to last fight of the game. And all of a sudden, the Jaguar comes, the Fire Jaguar, the Jaguar that's literally just made of fire. He comes towards me, he comes towards you, and then gets you on the ground, and then puts his paw up, and then time freezes. Also, that kind of unfortunate. Right here, this is a backup strat. I'm using the, delaying your your Slam Strike. That's not right here. And I'm gonna run up this wall. This is a nice backup strat. In case I miss it. So. No! Heck, dude! You know, I'm just gonna... Porcupines are actually really easy to kill yourself with. So this is really that one. That one just doesn't die for some reason. He's like the Hercules of all these porcupines. Okay, so... quite wait here because... okay, I'm not supposed to make that. I have to do a really tight delay jump out of running. Okay, so after the boss fight, after we beat that boss fight, we run away and then all of a sudden he gets up and we stop because, you know, plot reasons. And then all of a sudden, he comes, he puts us on our, gets us on the ground and then brings his paw up, and then the game freezes. And then Pitfall Harry literally just goes, "Yup, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it was a long story." And then we flash back 24 hours earlier. Also, heck, I'm supposed to skip this cutscene, but I missed the trigger, the timing. You have to press A within like the first bit of control you have in order to actually skip that. Actually, what's supposed to happen in that cutscene is that wall that I blew up earlier, that wall there is supposed to blow up there, but I didn't need to worry about it because I did it already. So that's neat. So yeah, that happens, and then all of a sudden we just go back in time. So basically, right now, this is all a flashback, technically. If you want to think about it like that. Can I... the pickaxe is really annoying sometimes. So. Also, I don't know if the text box popped up there, but there's a text box that says, if you use your torch, you can scare away the bats. But it's the neat little thing. They don't scare away the bats. They literally just catch the bats on fire if you have the torch and they run into it. It's kind of funny. It's just a little minor thing I really find funny. This is... I'm gonna have to pay attention here. This is one of the hardest skips in the run. This is Early Geyser. I can explain it in a bit, but this skip saved 9 minutes if I get this. So. I guess I have to be in a very specific position in order to clip out. Nice! Yo, nice. Okay, that's so hard to do consistently. So what I did is I went through that wall. So first off, I entered a geyser. You're supposed to get TNT and you can blow up the ice and then you can go in there and it teleports you around this area. But we don't have the TNT. But if we clip through the wall, we can land on the ice, and if we do a very well-timed dive, we can very barely reach the load zone. And what that does is, it lets us skip 9 minutes of gameplay. It skips 9 minutes of gameplay for speedrun-wise, compared to our old route. It skips about 25 minutes of gameplay casually. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to go to, after we get the Scorpion Temple, which is the thing we did before, we come over here and we have the pickaxe, which we are able to use to climb some areas, and it lets us continue on this area. We get here before. We aren't able to continue until we get the pickaxe. Once we get the pickaxe, we can go through a couple of other areas. We eventually go through 4 different maps, and then we get to the Penguin Temple, which is the temple we skip. Which I'm sad because I really kind of wanted. The Penguin Temple is actually kind of neat, but we skip the Penguin Temple. And then we actually spawn right beyond it. Doing that skip actually spawns us right beyond it, pretty much. So it's really, really nice. Now, I actually found that out of bounds. That little early geyser. The problem with it is if you walk towards the edge of the ice, Pitfall Harry can go whoa and just not walk off. So you have to walk at a very specific angle, and then after that, you have to run in midair in order to set up your angle, and then dive at this very specific angle in order to actually get to the geyser. It is very common for people to just mess that up a lot during runs. So this is actually the fight I needed the pickaxe for. So I could skip the pickaxe. There's one area I needed to use it to climb in the last area, but we don't need it. I can do the little glitch in order to skip needing it. But we get here and we can't damage these guys unless we spin around. We could have, just like we bought the Slam Strike, we could buy an ability called Breakdance, which lets us do this fight, but is slightly faster than getting 10 more totems is slightly slower than just getting pickaxe. So we need this. Get this. I actually forgot to split. So now we have TNT, and now we're gonna, now I'm gonna mention the skip I did at the very beginning of the run. Remember earlier in the run, when, it was the Mysterious Temple early, as I'm pointing to on my map. Actually, it's on this. Mysterious Temple early was the thing where I kind of clipped out of bounds, and then clipped out of bounds again, and then entered, like, fell through the floor, and then kind of went to an area, a swimming area. Right now, we're supposed to be going, like, around the map in order to find clues, in order to figure out where we are, like, where we're supposed to go, who stole the last medallion. But, thankfully, that normally takes about, like, 30 minutes or so of just walking around finding stuff. Just because we have to go all the way around the map. But I hit that Mysterious Temple checkpoint, which lets us not have to do any of that. It skips about 30 minutes of casual gameplay, and lets us go to St. Clair's Camp, which is the second to last story trigger of the game. So, and very conveniently, St. Clair's Camp is only 2 maps away. It's, this map counts as one map, this swimming section in the next step, and that counts as one map. And the next area is the flooded, what's it called? Flooded courtyard, which I mentioned a bit earlier. And right after that, we're going to use the TNT to blow up a wall, and we can go right into the St. Clair's Camp. So, that's actually, it's really, really convenient, actually, how that just works smoothly. So, we're going to go over this way. Also, a little fun fact. So, I mentioned earlier that I used, I clipped into the Monkey Temple early, because in order to skip lighting some torches. That totem right there, that little pillar, that little statue right there, is supposed to be destroyed, but I skipped having to destroy it, because I clipped into the Monkey Temple. So that actually means that we have a really easy, just way to get past. Normally, we'd have to swim all the way around it, but it's kind of convenient how it's not destroyed. So, we walked in here, and then all of a sudden, we immediately got caught. All of our items were taken away from us. Because, you know, they actually made sense as a villain, and we got trapped in the cage. Unfortunately, they didn't actually put anything on the cage, so we just punch it through. And I'm going to be quiet, because this is a very tricky out of bounds. Okay. So I kind of just went through the floor there. That's not even the weirdest part. Now I'm entering the hitbox of this water, which lets me kind of just swim wherever the hell I want to. Wherever the heck I want to. I also have to swim kind of out of this way, because the guards can see me through the wall, because that makes sense. I have to get right back in. That's kind of a clutch jump I have to do there. I can very easily just rub up against the wall and not clip in. And I have to sneak around here. Thankfully, they can't catch me if they're dead, so. Walls are merely a suggestion, exactly. Ah, dang it, okay. I have to look at OBS there, because my screen is so dark I can't actually see him. So I got caught. That's really annoying. I have to do the skip again. That last guy, that guy right there is really annoying, because it's just, he's not in the, depending on the cycle you're on, he can be in different places. Okay. Depending on the cycle, you can be in different places, and for some reason, he just is really good at finding you for some reason. Like, he's actually decent at doing his job. Oh, God. Okay. Put back in. Where is he? There he is. So, thankfully, he can't catch you if he's dead, so. Smart thinking. Failing it is kind of understandable. Once it's so dark it's hard to see. I actually look at OBS in order to, because I brighten the game up on stream, because just so people can actually see the game. So I use OBS in order to see it, but that's mainly because I have a HD TV I'm playing on. So if I'm playing on a TRT, I can easily see it. So right there, I gained all 4 medallions that I actually didn't even have 2 of them yet. But, because I skipped them. But I gained all 4 medallions. And, I just beat St. Clair's Camp. Also, St. Clair is just kind of dead. He's right there. Because, turns out he wasn't the evil guy. The evil guy was a super old, super ancient, mythological god that's here in this time. Because, you know, plot is good. plot in this game is very smart. So, now we have to go fight him. So, we're actually almost at the very end of the run. We probably have like another 5-6 minutes of the run left. I'd say about 6 or 7 actually, never mind. So, we have to get to the boss, and then we have to do the 2 bosses. The 2 final bosses can be a little annoying sometimes. Also, I kind of want to mention something, a fun fact. So you saw there, I want to take note of that walking animation. You may not understand why I'm pointing out that specific walking animation walking out of there. But the reason I want to mention it is, so there is an out of bounds. You do not need the TNT in order to get into that map, to get into St. Clair's camp. You can do a very, very strange set of out of bounds in order to hit the load zone. And you can go in there, you can get the TNT, you can activate the story trigger and everything. But when you try to leave, without destroying the blocks that were there that I used the TNT to destroy when I first got there, they're still there, and you actually soft lock the game because you have to wait for Pitfall Harry to walk in a specific area in order for you to get control of him. But he never gets there because the spot where he's supposed to walk is beyond the rocks, and he spawns behind the rocks. If that was not the case, this run would be about like 20 minutes long. It's actually kind of annoying. It's kind of sad. But it's a really interesting thing to point out. Because if that wasn't the case, if he just spawned beyond that little rock barricade, this one would be 20 minutes long. It would be kind of insane. So, we're gonna go 2 more maps, and then we're gonna be able to access the final boss, the second final boss, and the final boss after that. So, the run's actually coming pretty close to the end. So, I want to shout out, while I'm just getting over there, I want to shout out the amazing community behind this game, as I just fall and get eaten by Gator, because I'm bad at this game. So this game was, I mentioned at the very beginning of the run. Oh, I forgot to split, yeah. Thank you. It doesn't really matter, but thanks for pointing that out, Prince. So the speedrun for this game was kind of not, for the longest time, for like the last 9 months, the world record for this game was 55 minutes. And there was not a lot of big skips found. The run was pretty optimized, but there are not a lot of, that's kind of unfortunate. No! Okay, well, I have more time to talk. I kind of, this is not going well. So, for the longest time, the record for this game was 55 minutes, because there weren't a lot of skips. The biggest skip that there was the out of bounds, where I got into the temple, I got into the teleporter early. That was the only really big skip in the run. So, but eventually, over the last 9 months, this game really doesn't want me to explain this. Over the last 9 months, we've been finding trick after trick after trick. I found early geyser. Someone else, a person in the community called Mallory, found the mysterious temple early. And we kind of went ham on finding things. We found about 25 minutes or 22 minutes right now of new routes, of new movement, new routes, new skips, and everything. And within the last 3 weeks, this game, I'll give it a little bit of time frame. This game has been being ran really clutch, has been run a lot. There have been 3 runners that have been really grinding this run for the last 3 weeks. And after the last 3 weeks, we've dropped the record from 55 minutes to 39 minutes. So, it is extremely nice. And, I'm gonna actually pay attention here, because this is the same boss I fought at the very beginning of the run, but he is a lot harder. And actually, I can die, so. I'm gonna try to do a similar combo where I'm gonna try to kill him, zero to death him, but I really just want to shout out the community, because the community's been going ham, and it's super interesting. This game went from kind of interesting to an extremely interesting game. Thank you. I love this run so much. It's so interesting. Also, he's kind of beating me up a bit. I didn't run this. Okay. I'm gonna try this hard shot one more time. There is a safe strat that basically everyone else does, but I don't because I'm a very aggressive player. Nice. So that's a very similar zero to death combo that as I did in the very first fight. So, but it's a lot harder because I also have to manipulate him because when he approaches you, he can either run around you or he can hit you, and I need him to try to hit me, because then otherwise he won't. Then I can actually hit him. Also, this is the final boss of the game. There's 4 phases. I have to hit him. I have to hit him with one of these pillars, which is actually a lot harder said than done. And he's gonna send these guys out. The really nice thing is he has a set spawn. So I was able to time that properly. I'd be able to instantly get him. Dang it. Okay, this is kind of annoying. If I don't get him instantly, he likes to just go around and not get hit. There we go. That got him. Okay. These guys spawn more and more, and also what's kind of annoying is they can shoot projectiles and they can very easily kill you because there's no hit stun. Nice. Thankfully, I know how he reacts every time he spawns, so I can manipulate, I can predict where he's going to be, and I can hit him in a specific way. I have died on this fight a lot because just... if those guys go to town on you, they could just completely kill you. Also, time ends when I kill him. This is the last hit. Also, yo, time! Nice! Nice! That was actually a really solid run for no reset. Yo, so this is Pitfall: The Last Expedition. This is actually an extremely fun run. This game's been getting a lot of traction recently. It's for such a small game that really hasn't been developed until recently. It's so interesting. It's such an interesting run. World record right now is 39-minute time. You can really finish every single run in under an hour. So this definitely is a really compact, super interesting GameCube speedrun. Like I mentioned before, it's kind of a hidden gem GameCube speedrun. But that's all for me. Thank you everyone who stopped by or for watching the submission video. This game is so much fun and I love sharing this game. It's so wacky and so interesting. And I'm gonna sign off. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, thanks for watching this Pitfall: The Lost Expedition speedrun submission video. Thanks.